Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Introspection Hour with Brian and Patrick. Now, a few episodes ago, we talked about work dissatisfaction, and in that particular video, we brought up the concept of Ikigai. And so in today's episode, we kind of want to change it up a little bit and kind of go over the process of how to actually perform this Ikigai, particularly for myself. Before we continue, we just want to say thank you to all of our current subscribers so far, and if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And if you feel like you have some friends, some family who may benefit from our podcast, please share the information with your friends. And so, Patrick, you're going to be my guide today. I have no idea I know what Ikigai looks like, okay? But can you tell us how do we use this?
Yeah, thanks, Brian. And today is really casual for us. Ikigai, in the Japanese concept, it means a reason for being and helping us find happiness and joy in the things that we do on a day-to-day basis. So what we're going to do is also break a stigma. You don't need to do this introspection stuff yourself. Find a buddy. And sometimes it just clicks easier, it just flows easier. So we're going to work with Brian and go through his Ikigai. And what do we mean? Because when you see the picture, you just see circles and you see some words on circles. So what does it really mean to actually go through this tool that we really like? So Brian, let's go ahead and let's dive right in and draw some circles, man. All right, folks. So what we did, or what Brian has did at this point, is be able to just draw some fancy, good-looking circles. And he has pre-filled a couple of things, but it's just your basic questions for the Ikigai. Now, just follow along with us, and really this is going to just be as if it was a conversation between me and him. It's not like I'm a master of Ikigai. I just know it enough that I can help him, and at the same time, we're hoping that our conversation can just spur and help him, fill out the Ikigai circles. And as a disclaimer, I'll say this. We haven't done this all the way through, and so this is going to be live to recording. And then the other thing is, as you see on Brian's wonderful artistic framework that he has, the circles in real life are different sizes. So that's what we're going to kind of find out. All right. So you ready, Brian?
Let's do this, man. Let's do this.
So the first 4 questions: what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what are you good at? Just pick one, which one that you think off the top of your head you can answer really easily, and then let's just start with that. So which one do you want to start with?
I mean, obviously, just what am I good at, right? So usually we have to focus down on what are my skills, what are my skill sets. So yeah, let's start with what am I good at.
Yeah. All right, so what are you good at? Like literally just answer the question. Just any skill, doesn't have to be work related, just anything you're good at in life. So I know one thing we started off with was snowboarding. So snowboarding, what else?
Do you want this to be in complete sentences or just list it out?
No, just list it out, whichever way is the easiest way that you can describe it.
I have no idea, man. This is actually kind of hard.
It's okay. Wherever you feel like you're like, this is all I can think of, that's a good place to stop.
All right, Pat, it took me a while to really think about all of these things, but I think this is what I'm good at. Subjectively, I have no idea, but I'm just assuming I'm good at these things. So I put down, for example, sports. Like I've always been pretty good at picking up new things like basketball, volleyball, which I'm not technically good at, but I pick it up pretty fast. Snowboarding, climbing, rock climbing, any of that stuff. Second one I put down is talking. I never thought I'd actually be considered good at this, but I think people have told me I'm actually pretty good. So I'll put that down. That's why I put I think. Like, I don't know, whatever. Computer skills. Not in the sense of like computer development software, but I'm very technically, what I'm good at, right, is being able to navigate a computer and kind of figuring out how software works, like and how to usability wise, not the developer side. Okay.
Yeah.
I put down that I'm pretty good at learning things pretty easily. Like you've told me that many times before, like you're actually really good at picking things up. So I guess that's considered a skill set. And the last one I put down videography, cinematography. I don't know if I'm good at this, to be honest, but I feel like I am. Again, I feel like this is all subjective, so I don't know. Right. So I think I'm done, man. Like, what else?
No, that's it. I think, what's important is you just get through your initial list, and that's good. Because you could always revisit this later and you're like, oh, I'm actually good at, I don't know, cutting food and cooking or something like that. But The whole point for today is just to be able to get through your initial list. So that's great.
Okay.
Don't worry about the inner circles. Let's go on to another one. You got to pick one of the other ones. What you love, what the world needs, or what you can be paid for.
Let's do what I love.
Okay, what you love.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. You ready?
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Again, Patrick, what do I love? I just put down 4 things, man. I mean, I'm so vague. This is harder than you think it is, at least in my opinion. So what do I love? I love being outdoors. I like learning new skills, competition in sports. Like I love competition, and I put down basketball. It's kind of related, but I just like the competitive nature of everything,
Yeah.
Is this enough? Do I need more?
What was the last one?
I put basketball. Like I love basketball, dude.
Okay. That's fine. You don't have to pre-think how this is all connected. You just kind of let it flow out, right? Let it flow out. So the last 2, what you can be paid for and what the world needs.
Let's do what I can get paid for. Let's move on to the next list. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So Patrick, this one's hard for me to do because I've never considered myself to be like a business person or an entrepreneur. Like I'm trying to be, but the obvious one. What can I get paid to do? Physical therapy, my job, right? And the one thing I know we've had this discussion off camera is actually like making commercialized videos, let's say for people who are looking to sell their houses, for example. So that's something I kind of thought about, maybe something I could do.
Okay.
And I forgot what do I love to do? I actually like making videos, man.
Okay.
So let's go on to the last one. What the world needs.
Yeah. So for what you can be paid for, because your main profession is physical therapy, and there was a little bit something there with the videography. Is there anything else in your profession that you can pivot that you can be paid for? Whether or not you like it is a whole different question, right? But like massage therapists or anything related to physical therapy that isn't directly physical therapy that you can spin off or something like that.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I really don't know.
Then no problem. So last one, what the world needs. Now, this is a hard question. Like you just have to think of it from your perspective, right? And what you want to, what helps. And this is where the definition comes, where what is your reason for being for what the world needs, right? So like, what do you want to contribute to the world that you can contribute, not what you wish, politicians would do or whoever. It's just what do you want to contribute? So that's what the world needs.
What I can personally contribute, right?
Not necessarily what you think you can or can't do, but what you want to give to the world.
So Patrick, I put down for this particular, I only put down 2, man. Again, this is hard for me to fill. I'm just never good at these self-criteria things. It's like I'm clicking buttons. What the world needs, I just put down rehabilitation. Again, that's associated with my job as a physical therapist. And so I assume people need rehab, right? People want to get better in recovery. And the last one, which is also associated with like what do I love and what I could essentially get paid to do, is travel videos, which is, so let me explain what I mean by travel videos. It's kind of like if you've seen some of my hiking videos, for example, right? Like my goal is to showcase why people should come to this particular hike, why people should come to this particular town to visit. Like what makes this place so special? That's, in my opinion, I don't want to say that's what the world needs, but in my opinion, I don't know. This is hard for me, man.
And it is meant to be hard. Like this is one of the hardest questions that I ran into, like what the world needs, that because most of us are raised to be humble. And we're not raised to think like we're this grand. We don't have a savior complex. At least most of us don't. If you do, well, like that'll be an interesting conversation. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. No, doesn't matter what you wrote, what you didn't write, or anything like that. But let's look at a little bit of the inner circles. To define your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your profession.
Okay.
So let's start with passion, because that's one that people generally misinterpret, and they get very differently if it's just left up to people's own definitions. And we mentioned this in the previous video, but passion is a combination of what you love and what are you good at.
Do
So
you want
when
me
you
to,
look
sorry, do you
at,
want me to fill that out here? Should I put in
no,
the
not
word
yet.
passion? Oh,
Yeah. Um, so when you look at your list for what you love and what you are good at, Brian, which ones kind of go together?
you mean which activities that I wrote down?
Yeah, from the stuff that you wrote down, which ones go together for what you love and what you are good at?
I mean, I would say being outdoors.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I forgot to guess. I don't know if hiking is considered a skill, right? But I consider myself to be a pretty good hiker. Like I have one of those, like I'll carry a 30-pound pack, for example. I'll just like
Yeah,
go until I'm going, right? So I guess you could say being outdoors. So should I fill it out in here between the two inner circles?
sure.
Okay, so being outdoors.
Hmm.
Okay.
What else?
Uh, I guess what do I love? Making videos. What am I good at? Again, I think it's a skill set where I could get better at making videos. I don't think I'm good at it right now, but I think I could get
Yeah,
better at it, right?
yeah.
So, okay.
You know, and those are two really good things that you're bringing together, and those define your passion. You definitely, I can confirm that you have a passion for the outdoors, and you know you're physically fit, and you know you whenever we went on hikes, you would push my limits. That's for sure. And you're like,
Okay.
come on, Pat, this is easy, and you know, stop. So that's definitely a passion. So this is a little bit just kind of reaffirming what you really love, right? And you what you love has built into this what you're good at. Now let's try a different inner circle. Let's try your mission. This one is a little bit weird, right? So you take the same list, what you love, but what the
Uh huh.
world needs. You know, you think about it from your perspective, and even the world, what the world needs. Like some people will start thinking about, you know, climate change and other things like that. But wanted to make this manageable. Like start with yourself first, and then you kind of build out further. So your mission in life, what you love, and what the world needs. I guess from your list of two of what the world needs, pick one. I would say that you think you can really rally around and say, "This is my mission in life."
I did add another one for what the
Yeah,
world needs, actually, because you did bring this up. I feel like the world needs more positive news.
positive. Yeah.
So, and then
Okay.
I guess what you love, right? So again, I'm going back with what this list is based off what both of them combined in terms of what do I love, what the world needs. Again, it has to go back to making videos because rehabilitation is not necessarily what I love to do.
Yeah.
Again, that's more of like what am I good at? It's kind of like that job aspect, but do I love it? Not really. It's okay. Like I don't hate it, but I'm in the middle, right? So yeah, making videos, and I want to make a positive news in there. Like for example, I know it's weird when I say what the world needs. I want, like for example, I have a trip coming up where I'm going to Seaside, Oregon, and I want to showcase why people should travel here. And it's like because when for example, when people go on vacation, people always assume happiness. They just want to get away. They just want to escape, right?
Yeah.
So my goal is to showcase why people need to come here so that you can experience a great vacation experience, just a way to experience what I'm feeling. Does that make sense?
It does, but that's not really what mission is. That's
Okay,
not.
sorry. So okay.
So it's like taking is it's more of your passion. Okay. And the reason is because you just love making videos, you're pretty good at it, and everything that goes along with it, whatever the content is. Um, I would say, either rehab or positive content, and mirroring that with, perhaps other things that you love is more of your mission, right? So it could be, for example, as part of the rehab process for people that you just the world needs, no matter what stage in life they are, that they need to be outdoors. So
Okay.
your mission is to help in a positive way of getting people outdoors as much as possible. Okay. So helping people, and rehab could mean a whole bunch of different things, right? It could be moms getting back into shape after delivering a baby. It could be senior citizens. It could be whoever. So
Okay.
rehab is not necessarily limiting, but I think this is where your mission needs to be on other people. Is what I really want to say. The
Okay.
positive content is great. The travel videos, like most of those are internal, kind of like inward focused. For a lot of people, I would encourage mission to be outward focused, not about
Okay.
you, about it needs to be about someone else. So that's good.
Okay, so I just put that one thing. Is that okay? So then,
Yeah.
exactly what you said: help people in a positive way to bring people outdoors. Or
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
All right. So next, let's look at vocation. So vocation we see is this intersection between what the world needs and what you can be paid for. So this is a little bit interesting. This is kind of like, let's take your travel videos or stuff like that. The positive content, and you could possibly get paid for it. Whether it's the travel bureaus or every state, every local agency has some sort of travel department. They want to increase tourism, so they might pay you for it, right? So this is where I think you can take what you think the world needs, which is getting a whole new positive perspective on why they should come to a certain place, uh, and then seeing if you can get paid for it. So it's kind of um, releasing out this style of content that you think people would just get a lot of positive vibes out of. So that's really your vocation. And, it's something you want to do, you're sort of good at it, but in actuality, it's just, if you can get paid for it, it'd be a little bit greater. So that's kind of where vocation comes in.
okay.
How does that sound to you? I kind of assumed, but does that sound about right? Or do you
No,
think?
that's exactly what I put down. So I put down kind of what you were saying, bringing a new perspective on why people should visit or travel to our particular
Sure.
destination.
Right.
And it's funny you bring this up. Actually, I got advertised on Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
It's a beer company, and they're basically paying people $50,000 for 6 months to go live in a national park. I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I need to sign up for that. Okay, sorry, got lost traction. So last one.
That is like a perfect opportunity to define your vocation. It's not your mission in life to do that. It's just your vocation of, hey, there's this really great intersection, and you're bringing in a couple of things. But one thing, for example, is when you look at some of the descriptions on the inner circle, you'll see that this mixture of what you can be paid for and what the world needs, along with what you're good at, you get this comfortable but feeling of emptiness. So you might like it for that time that you're on that trip and you're comfortable and you have fun, but then when you come back after the 6 months, you're going to feel empty, right? Yeah. So if you imagine, so just kind of look at some of the inner circles. So the last one is your profession.
Okay.
Right? And your profession is this convergence of what you can be paid for and what you're good at. Now, one thing you didn't list on your what you're good at is basically physical therapy, because that's also your main what you can
yeah.
Right. And so that is your profession. That's kind of interesting. The question then comes, do you have anything else that you would consider your profession? We alluded to this where you were like, actually, no, I don't have anything else. It's just physical therapy, right? Whether it's like speaking or massage therapy, or this is where people who might have 2 or 3 different ways to pivot their career would list maybe like 1 to 2 different professions. Does that make sense? So it's okay for most people to just have one profession. My sister, she's a nurse. She's a pediatric nurse. That's it. That's what she started with. That's what she's going to end up with. And she's going to be perfectly happy with that. So I think, when you look at this, what you can be paid for circle, because that's where a lot of people focus. No one ever really achieves the center Ikigai. So I did want to take a moment and look at your 4 inner circles: passion, mission, vocation, and profession. And when you look at it, Brian, where do you spend most of your time and energy right now? Where do you spend most of your efforts?
I would say on the mission side and the vocation side.
Okay.
Well, because everything interlaces, right? So if you look at the passion side, being outdoors, the mission side of being outdoors, the last one's technically being outdoors, right? Or the vocation side, making videos is all 3 of them as well.
Yeah.
Aside from the profession part.
Right. So when you look at when you look at the Ikigai diagrams, they have the descriptions about what the third level of the inner circles mean, right? You have the big main outer circles, then you have the passion, mission, second level. The third levels, what you described, what you're good at, what you love, what the world needs, kind of that intersection.
Yeah.
It describes that people get delight and fullness, but no wealth. So you're doing
Okay.
all of it. Whether or not you get paid is on the off chance, sure, great, but you don't need to get paid for it. And you
Uh-huh.
feel happy and you feel full in your life, but you're not getting wealthy off of it. And so those third level inner circles are really good indicators to help you define what you can really be happy about the things that you're doing in life is what I would say. So that not everything has to fit this perfect circle image. The other one is when you do a little bit of what you pay for and what you love and also what you're good at, but not what the world needs, you get satisfaction, but you're feeling of uselessness. You're satisfied with your job. There's nothing wrong with it. It's great. It provides and everything, but it doesn't have this like what the world needs. It doesn't have that drive from a mission or your vocation in life. And so that's why you feel useless. So most of the time, what I end up doing, where this is it, this is when you get this far, you just put it up, print it out, or tape it to your wall, and then remind yourself, man, all I do is make all these videos. Well, yeah, that's right. I actually just get happy and hope to spread my positive vibes, and I don't need an expectation of money. Or, man, my job, all I do is this, and I'm comfortable, I'm happy, I make enough money, but it doesn't fulfill me. Okay, that's perfectly normal. And it's part of the definition of being happy and defining happiness. So like I try to look at it from that perspective. I try to look at it from not everything needs to be filled out every single moment in our life, but when you feel like you are not happy or you don't know why, what is your reason for being, can it try to match what you're doing at that particular moment to wherever you are in this diagram, and it'll give you a perspective that not everything that you get on social media or whatever is expectations is actually what you need in life at that moment, right? And so I usually stop there, and then I'll post it up, I'll look back at it, and then my next kind of thing comes up, and I'm like, oh, actually, that is more of what the world needs that I really want to contribute to. Let me add that, or let me take some things off. Take some things off. It's okay. Your life changes. At some point, you get through this, and people will find something that really drives that Ikigai center. And some people very rarely, not very rarely, but not as easily find that center. But most of the time, most people don't. And they find enough with the second and third circles that they're very happy with their life. When you look at it day in and day out, why am I doing this? Oh, yeah, I don't need to get paid for it. I just want to help the world and it's something that I love. Okay, don't get paid for it. That's your mission, you know? So what do you think, Brian? Like, this didn't solve or answer any of your questions about careers, but hopefully, at least doing it together, you were able to break through and kind of think through what you're feeling and how happy you should be. But
Hmm.
um, give a real life review, Amazon, quote unquote Amazon review on this, like right now. Like, what do you think?
It just depends if you're going to give me a free product first, and then I'll give you a 5-star review, right? I'm just kidding. We've all had that Amazon experience.
Yeah,
So going back to what you were saying, the only one that I couldn't really fill out, I guess, is the profession side. Well, in a sense, like my profession is physical therapy, right? And
yeah,
going back and looking at the chart, right, comfortable, but a feeling of emptiness. But I realized the second layers, the
uh-huh.
second inner layers, they all have to relate to being outdoors to some degree. And I know that.
Yeah,
just like I know, like I like being outdoor, being in nature makes me happy.
Yeah.
So I am trying to figure like what is it that I can use or utilize to combine all three. And main thing is how can I get paid for it? Right?
Well,
That's always the hard part. How can I get paid for your passions?
it is, but I think if you try to do all of that at once, you're not going to get it. So perhaps you should just start with those things that you're good at, whether it's videos or some sort of technology aspect, with your love for the outdoors, and just combine it, and then see where the road takes you. But um, I would say, honestly, you got to stop thinking about how you're going to get paid for it, man. Like, accept your level of comfort and everything that you guys set up, financially, and everything else. Don't have an expectation. Like, take off that burden, because then you're going to fall into the trap of just advertising. You're just going to go wherever the money is. You're not going to let what you really love drive you. And I think that's been a bigger kind of roadblock for you for a while, is how do I turn this into money? How do I turn this into money? And then that takes you away from what you really want to do. So that's why you got to do things for no money. You got to do it for free, man. Just live up to our high school isms of what we used to say, and just freeload, man. Let people freeload off of your good stuff and positive vibes. And I think that'll make you happy that happens. And sooner or later, Budweiser or whoever is going to call you and have you go 6 months to every national park, So you'll get paid for it sooner or later. But if you let money drive you, money's going to win. So you can't let money drive you is my thing. So, but yeah, folks, I mean, this is really what it is. It's not anything groundbreaking or, like earth shattering, kind of like, oh, I defined my happiness. What it is a constant reminder and a tool to use day in and day out. Every time you get in that sense of, am I happy? What is my reason for being? Check back on this diagram, see what you filled out, see if you want to change it, and just keep making improvements, because as you will see when you start this introspection journey, it just challenges all different aspects of you. So really appreciate it. If you like this style of video, comment, like us, subscribe, send us a message, and don't forget to check us out on all of our other channels on Apple, Spotify, and Podbean, and I think we're on Amazon Music now. And we'll see you next week, folks, for another episode of the Introspection Hour with Brian and Patrick.